You're listening to The Right Side of the Rivers, hosted by Todd McCollum and Russell Dreyer. This show tackles public issues from a Pittsburgh point of view, offering common-sense conversations, right-of-center perspectives, and a focus on the people, policies, and principles shaping Pittsburgh, Allegheny County, and Pennsylvania.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to The Right Side of the Rivers. My name is Russell Dreyer. I'm the Vice Chairman for the City of Pittsburgh Republican Committee. This is our 17th show. Big shout out to five-star producer Sorg and Missy for always keeping it real here in-house and making us look good and sound good. Thank you guys very much. Tonight, our chairman, Todd McCollum, is on special assignment. Big shout out to Todd for all the work that he's done for the GOP committee here in the city of Pittsburgh. Todd's been getting a lot of press these past, I'd say, week to 10 days for his letter that he sent out to City Controller requesting transparency for the gifts from UPMC and PNC Bank. So, Todd, the show is in good hands. Thank you for all the work you do. We have two very special guests tonight. One is a longtime committee man, really good friend of mine, Dave Gehring. Dave, welcome to the Right Side of the Rivers. You've been here before.
I have. It's good to be back.
And we also have a very special in-house Venezuelan expert, Juan Romero, who we're going to get a chance to talk to here very briefly. But again, this is our 17th show. This is the Right Side of the Rivers. Thank you, everybody, for tuning back in to hear from us tonight. Last week's show, we had Joseph Lockenby on the show. Joseph was our candidate in the special election, House District 42, that took place yesterday, and we'll talk a little bit about the results of that race here in a little bit. But without further ado, I'd like to bring in a good friend of mine and our in-house Venezuelan expert, Juan Romero. Welcome to the program, Juan.
Thank you for having me.
Great to have you in here on such short notice. I know you and I talked yesterday, and your travel plans had you in town for a few days here. Juan, so a lot of people are just hearing about Venezuela. Obviously, a lot about the past 90 days. So, kind of frame Venezuela for us. How did we get here to this point? Obviously, on January 3rd, we had Operation Absolute Resolve, but kind of take us back a couple decades and what the Venezuelan people have been living through in Venezuela.
Well, wow, it's very long story, but Chávez got in power in 1999. I actually moved here in 2001. He pretty much got in power because of people were unhappy for different things happening in the country, but he got help from a lot of people too, from a lot of business people to get in power. So that's how pretty much he got in there.
Yeah, he won a fair and square election in '99. He was very popular at the time.
Yes. But there were the media was against the actual president that was in power before. Carlos Andrés Perez, was the president back then, and he got there was a coup against him, organized by Chávez and actually people from the same party of Carlos Andrés Perez. So after all that happens, Chávez got arrested,
right?
And then got released by the next president, Caldera. He got released, and then from that point, he went on a campaign and got elected.
Yeah, and he, we could talk a little bit about all the promises he made, because that's really the reason that he got. Yeah,
Exactly. He was good line, very good line, and like there happens here in the country right now, with the Democrats. So he definitely had help. He saw in Fidel Castro a father figure, and they have pretty much a plan for Venezuela.
right. I think that's a point that is lost on a lot of people. You've got a small nation like Cuba that really has controlled Venezuela. Let's say, you tell me if I'm wrong, but they've really controlled Venezuela for 27 years. Is that fair to say?
Yes, yes, yes. They have been there for 27 years, but they got help everywhere, from the false opposition, fake politicians, business people in the country. So they got help. In order to be there for 27 years, there is no way, because Chávez got in power in 1999.
Right.
And actually in 2002, he was almost out.
I remember that.
He's almost out. So the Venezuela people is very, very, they like democracy, and they have done everything possible, but it has been stopped by other politicians,
Correct. And there was never really an organized, I guess, international effort to, let's say, help the Venezuelans solve their internal problem, because you guys have tried to do this at the ballot box.
Yes, yes. But once Chávez got back in power in 2002, with the help of a lot of people and business people, he definitely took, made sure that to get the institutions to back him.
Correct.
Place his people in, like the election committee, the judicial, the Supreme Court,
yeah,
everywhere, even in Congress. So, right. And he have the money to do that.
Yeah, because you guys are a rich oil country.
Exactly. The same way he bought out the UAE, the UN. He got a lot of people in his pocket, a lot of votes in the UN, buying out these little islands, like Trinidad and Tobago, the Virgin Islands, that kind of stuff,
Guyana, I believe.
Guyana, yeah, Bonaire, all those. Right. So because he was giving him free oil.
Free oil.
A lot of people are saying, the U.S. is, Trump is attacking the Venezuela because he wants to get the oil. No, we have been stole the oil from other countries like Russia, China, Cuba. So pretty much Venezuela has been, raped by these countries. Occupied, definitely.
For 27 or 30 years, Cuba, Iran, Russia has been taking as much, China has been taking as much oil out of Venezuela. And the flip side to that is there's really there's no prosperity or no money put back towards, the good people of Venezuela.
Yes, you're definitely right on that.
So, Juan, there's so many things we could talk about here with Venezuela, but I think one of the things that I think is important to let our viewers know is that some of the slippery slope of government promising people everything from free education to free health care, you name it. There's a bit of a slippery slope here when the government says, "Hey, we'll take care of you from cradle to grave." So we see those similarities, I think, here in the U.S. So you have firsthand experience, obviously, with that. Can you talk to us a little bit about some of those promises that were made, and then maybe if you could expand on how Chávez, took over private business and took land away from landowners and those kind of things that Chávez did.
Well, he has the military to back him up. A lot of they definitely went to Congress and signed the law to take arms from the people too.
Okay.
Slowly, you know. Well,
So so the population was disarmed.
disarmed.
Correct.
You know. So another thing, our oil company, our national oil well company, it went from 40,000 employees to 200,000. So all these people thought, oh, this Chávez is God. Look at our company. It went from one of the best companies best companies run in the world to nothing now. We used to, when he got in power, we used to produce 3.5 million barrels of oil. Now it's not like 700,000.
So
It's all taken by the Cubans and the Chinese, paying all the favors.
So basically, five times the employees, and production is cut more than half.
Exactly. So all these people, you know, they got everything for free. You know, they were frustrated people that, oh, let's take from the rich.
Right.
You know, let's take from the rich, and then all of a sudden we lost the whole country. So that doesn't work. Who's going to pay for that bill? So now we have a country in real trouble. And I'm glad President Donald Trump has taken the steps to help us.
Well, I know that, 30 million people would agree with you on that. And hopefully, hopefully over the course of the next maybe 24 months here, things will become more stable so that people that want to go home, and you've got almost 10 million Venezuelans in a diaspora,
exactly,
all over the world.
Well, so I think my question, and the history lesson's great, but we can all look that up and read about that, and get an objective view of that kind of stuff nowadays, because there are so many people that can post things on different social media platforms and whatnot that can kind of get around a lot of the bias. But one of the things that we can't really find out that I'm kind of curious about is, has there been any relief for the populace since this has happened?
Since what happened?
Since they've taken him out of power. Has there been any kind of relief for the populace in any kind of way? Because that's kind of what I worry the most about.
Yes. No, not really. Everybody is high, has high expectations, correct? Mm-hmm. Because actually the regime is, they're dancing to Donald Trump music, pretty much. He's telling them what have to be done, okay? Because he tried to do this in his first term, but there were factors there that didn't let him do that. He wanted this done in his first term. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people were traitors at that point. So now he's swinging. Now he's swinging 500. Mm-hmm. Okay, he came with a plan, and people have high expectations. There is still a lot to do, but this is nobody has done something like this.
Have they talked about any plans to give the people down there any kind of relief or
yes,
kind of quality of life?
Yes, well, right now we have, like a boots on the ground. Okay, we have they opened the embassy, the U.S. embassy. Okay.
The energy secretary was just there, or the U.S.
Exactly.
Energy secretary was just there.
There is a lot to do because you got guerrillas, you got the colectivos, and the thing is that the regime has so much baggage that Donald Trump can tell, well, if you don't do this, I can take you out. And the Venezuelan people are hopeful. Like I say, people have high expectations. There is a lot of things moving, like, the economy. Actually, the prices have come down in the country, but there is a lot to do. Actually, today, just what is that? A prosecutor, big time, Saab.
Oh, Saab, Tariq Saab.
Exactly. He just
resigned.
So there are a lot of movements there.
Yeah.
But definitely, I don't think Donald Trump is taking not letting the pedal of the gas just yet.
That's good.
Because there are still political prisoners they have to release, innocent people, and have to be justice for these people.
Yeah, there's a lot that's said about the oil and whatnot, and the energy resources and how that affects the geopolitical situation for many countries, as you guys have just stated. But one of the things that I had talked about with Russell and some of the other people in the committee was just that the United States has been unsuccessful with some regime changes, and my biggest hope was that the population there would get some relief and would get some help, and that they wouldn't kind of be overshadowed by it. I'm not sure what the electrical infrastructure is like in Venezuela. I know that in Cuba they have a lot of like roaming blackouts, but I would think if Venezuela is anything like that, which you two could probably speak to, that we could get in there and at least help with their infrastructure a little bit to kind of give these people a good base to get them, jump started back into like a functioning society.
Yes, what I think is they're making sure that is at least in place. How you say, like safe ways for the investors to go there and be safe.
Yes. We need security on
the ground.
We need security
definitely.
on the ground.
Security on the ground. That's why the regime actually is taking down their people. They're putting them in jail. They are cleaning the streets. That's what I see. But definitely there is no company is going to go there and invest billions of dollars, what they destroy, without at least a regime change or some type of security.
Yeah.
Day
to day, some sort of normalcy on the street where people feel safe, that they can do business and go out to dinner, et cetera, et cetera.
Exactly.
Juan, you talked a little bit about how Chávez and Maduro took the guns, disarmed the population, but at the same time armed these neighborhood gangs, which are called colectivos. Talk to us about the colectivos and how they are. While the normal citizens the guns were taken away from them, you have these armed gangs that were helping to keep the regime going. Talk to us about that.
See, well, they were created because not to use the armed forces. Okay, so to repress the people. So what they do is that you have a neighborhood. Actually, they created the círculos patrióticos, which is somebody in a neighborhood. He's like the president of the HOA, and
right
and then you name 5 people and you snitch on people, watch people. That's what they learned that from Cuba and Russia.
So these are lists like what is the famous list from Cuba? List Tocón or something like? Or no, in Venezuela they have the List Tocón, which was they knew if you voted against, I believe, Chávez or Maduro the first time.
Rascón, I think it is the list.
It was
exactly.
It was like you were blackballed.
Exactly.
From good jobs if you voted against the regime.
Exactly. So they knew everything about you, And if you're in opposition, they telling you, and they go to the colectivos or and threat you. And then another thing is another way for the regime to capture money, because they have like a lot of guards. How you call that?
Sort of like what do you want to call it?
Like you
have to pay a toll.
Exactly, like a toll every
or
certain miles, and they check your car, what you have, and then if you are in business, you gotta give them money. It's like
a bribe, like bribes.
Yeah, bribes, exactly. Or what the Italians used to do. The mafia used to do. Okay, so that's. But basically, the colectivos is to repress the people, to make them fear you. Put some fear into the people.
Don't speak up.
Don't speak up, and very bad people, very bad people. And I think that's you were talking about that we have got into other countries and to change regimes or help change regimes.
Right.
This is a different approach. I think Donald Trump is doing a great job on this, because there hasn't been an outburst of these people, killing or.
Yeah, there's not been any pushback.
Exactly.
to our attempts to liberate Venezuela.
Yeah.
Juan, just give us your hopes for the relationship that the United States and Venezuela can have going forward. I know, for me personally, I'm very optimistic about this strategic alliance for safety and security in the hemisphere. How do you see this new relationship that Venezuela and the U.S. are going to have?
We'll see here in the next few months what's going to happen, but it's a good start. It's a great start. The U.S. have to look for its interest too, because Venezuela has have sales of Hezbollah and other terrorist groups there. So it's not just, the U.S. have to watch their back.
Right.
We have to remember that the regime gave diplomat passports to these people too. A lot of people got to the United States
through
Venezuelan
passport system.
Even though, the machines, those voting machines, they got here.
Oh, the Smartmatic.
The Smartmatic.
Now, the Smartmatic, are they Venezuelan machines or is that Argentinian? I know or is there another company from Argentina? Or do they, Smartmatic is an Argentinian company that was operating in Venezuela? I'm not sure how that
It started with another company from Spain.
Okay.
Then they changed their name and they were out of Curacao, one of those islands. And then, established in Venezuela. I think that was a project. And, they rigged every election. And it's proven. It's proven. It's been proven for a long time. But these guys that haven't defend, the opposition haven't defend their elections.
Well, remember what Joseph Stalin said. It matters less who votes and more who counts the votes.
Right? Exactly. That's true.
Yeah.
And the same thing is here. Is happening here.
Yeah.
It's been happening here.
What is your message for our viewers and for Americans who may not be that familiar with sort of the dangers of socialism and government taking over production of farming, for example, or oil, and promising these pie in the sky promises for free everything. What is your advice to folks who may not really understand fully what that's about?
I think the American people should get informed of what's going on around the world. We Venezuelans used to laugh at Cubans. Oh, we are not Cuba. You know, a lot of Venezuelans said, no, we are not. The Cubans advise us, don't do this. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. You're going to go, you know, you're going down. And Venezuelans, no, I don't believe you. We are not Cuba. The same, we're telling Colombians, hey, watch for what you doing. Are you doing there, and vote who you voting for? And they say, no, we are not Venezuelans. So I think people have to. Communism hasn't worked anywhere, correct? It hasn't worked. It's proven. It's proven. We need to create opportunities. What happens is that these politicians want control. How they control you, giving you everything, and then after that, after you have no power of acquisition, then you are a nobody, and that's when they own you. Okay, so we have to love our country, love the United States. It's the only place I think everybody has around the world to come to, you know, and have some dignity and respect. But I think the people have to start loving their country. We need to start buying in our country. Stuff made here, forget about everybody else. Buy local, support your farmers. That's national security there.
Yeah.
We need to get back to basics.
That's a good message.
Go back to basics and family. You know, family have to get back to, you know, mom and dad, you know, teaching their kids about this stuff. Because what happens is that you have fatherless kids.
Right.
You know, and motherless kids out there, and they don't know. They have no guidance. And they, you know, they don't know what they have. We don't know. Why do they know what they have in my country? My country was a great country.
Oh,
What great country. You know, you have vacations, you go to the beach on vacations. My mother was a teacher, and she could live with that salary. My dad worked in the oil and gas, and we could live with that. Now you're depending on a box of food that's given you by the government and has a cockroach and a bunch of.
it's expired.
It's expired.
Yeah.
So let's work on opportunity in the United States. Let's, instead of bringing people from outside, let's go and train our people, train our locals. You know, here we got a lot of resources in Pennsylvania. You know, we need to change the infrastructure. You know, modernize our infrastructure.
Right.
That's what I can say.
Well, you've definitely you've lived it. You know you're from there. We need to get stories like yours out there more in the public. So this is one way that we're able to do that. Appreciate that perspective from someone that's lived it. Again, I'm very optimistic. You know, I'm always Dave. You know, I'm a glass half full guy.
You are.
But I am
It's
very.
one of the things we love about you.
I'm very optimistic about this new approach and working with Venezuela to give both countries energy independence, prosperity, and peace and stability in the hemisphere here. You know, I think it's very possible. So
I'm going to follow Russell's optimism with optimism coupled with caution, and just say also that we're talking about governments and how big government is not the answer. And we all need to remember that the midterms are coming. I know we are a little bit far apart on this. We'll see who's right. But I personally don't think the midterms are going to turn out very well for the Republicans. And even if they do, how long are we going to have a Republican, or whether or not it's a Republican or a Democrat, how long are we going to have somebody with some sense who respects the Venezuelan people, doesn't want to come and take things from their country? So for me, I would just honestly pray that their people get some relief, some prosperity, some liberty, that they can make their country their own again. These are good, God-loving people. I know many Venezuelans. I love all of them. And I would also pray that we can get their country back into their hands and not into the United States' hands. Because we don't know who's going to be in charge of the United States in 4 years or 6 years. Exactly. And this is their country. These are their resources, and they need to be controlled by the Venezuelan people.
Oh, definitely, I'm agree, and I'm realistic. I don't believe in soap operas. You know,
right.
I'm realistic, and I'm like you. Yes, I don't believe in messiahs, and then everything is gonna fix tomorrow. Right. But I think it's very quickly it's very positive what the president have done.
Hope is a big deal. You give people hope, and sometimes they can take the wheel from there.
Yeah. Oh, and you know, the Venezuelan people, obviously, as we just said, have been waiting for this moment for about 30 years. And once the situation on the ground stabilizes, you are going to see en masse millions of wonderful Venezuelan people going home to be reunited with their grandmothers, their nieces and nephews, to as you guys said, to rebuild, to rebuild their country. And that is, again, I'm very optimistic that's going to happen.
That'll be fantastic.
Hopefully here in, in the next 18 to 24 months. Juan, is there, now talking about maybe next steps, I know a lot of people are wondering when there will be elections in Venezuela, and I think that's anybody's guess right now. What are you thinking?
Who knows what's going to happen? President Trump has a plan, and it's advancing by the day.
They
were talking about elections. It's a lot of work. You have to place some good people there. The elections have to be watched by some international organizations. I don't know which one is really trustable anymore. But it's like our partner was saying here, that have to be done by the Venezuelan people. The Venezuelan people, very qualified people, right, to do that, but they have been demoralized,
right,
by the false opposition and by the regime, because they're the same thing.
They've been demoralized twice over.
Like right. 30 dialogues with the regime and nothing. There is so much money there, and that's why Donald Trump took the bull by the horns. And this is how it's going to be done, because they know information. They know information from both sides. And enough is enough. We got to look for our country here too, the United States, because they represent a threat. They've been representing a threat. So we'll see what's going to happen. It's hard to say right now.
Yeah.
It's all the stuff developing. It's hard to say. It's hard to say because this is a different strategy. I don't think this has been done before.
And I will say, obviously, all the credit to Donald Trump for signing off on this mission to liberate Venezuela from the regime. But who's a great guy? Marco Rubio.
Yeah, I think so.
Marco. He knows. Marco knows the story. He's his parents obviously Cuban exiled from Cuba, so Marco knows the threats to the hemisphere from the Cuban and Venezuelan style of government. So I have a lot of confidence in Marco.
Yes, me too. I think the Republican Party overall is in good shape because you have new faces. It's not the base anymore. The old people from the Republican Party. I think younger people. I saw your last
show here.
Last show here with that young kid, Lester.
Oh, yeah. He was in the special election, Joseph Leckenby.
So that's what we want. That's what we professional people that love their country and yes, get us there. We need 30 more years of the same of this
This kind of model, yeah.
This kind of model. We need the tariff, buy American. We need to put money into the American people's pocket. Get that power back, and because money in your pockets is power, and you can educate your kids.
And there's a lot of pride there too. This is, you're working, you're taking care of your family. The government's not taking care of you. There's a lot of pride there, and hopefully you're well compensated for whatever job, whatever field you're in. You're well compensated for that in the system that we have.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
Well, listen, if we're going to switch gears here a little bit, Juan, you talked about our last guest, Joseph Leckenby. He was in a special election yesterday. Certainly not the results that Republicans wanted, Dave, but really no big surprise as far as I'm concerned.
I wasn't blown away. I thought it was maybe a little bit more lopsided than we would have expected. But as we were talking about before the segment started, sometimes you run into a situation with these special elections where, since mail-in voting, and this happened with we had a special election last year.
Oh, in 35.
Yeah, that Gina worked on.
Correct.
Can't remember the names there, but we had that special election as well. And I think just looking at a few of them, that we've had, and there have been a couple more across the state as well. But it seems to me that the edge goes to the Democrat Party because they have more people signed up for the mail-in ballots, and you get on there and you check that box that says that you want your ballot to be sent to you every time there's an election. So it's basically automatic. So these people, you don't really have to get the word out to them. It's not as hard getting the word out to them as it is maybe getting the word out to Republicans that don't have those mail-in ballots. So I think that just gives them a little bit of an edge. Maybe the 18, I think, or 19% or whatever it was last night, maybe it would have been 25 or 30, 35 had it been a normal election. But I think it hurts a little bit worse with those elections when it comes to the special election because of the mail-in ballots.
Well, and if we look at that district, that is a heavy blue district.
Oh, it's deep blue, yeah.
And I looked at it. Oh, and by the way, mad props and respect to Joseph.
Absolutely.
Our candidate for running in that election.
On short notice.
On short notice, and in a district that's not favorable to Republicans.
Right.
Now, basically, when you have a special election in a district like that, that's going to favor the party that has the most voters. And in this case, it's the Democrat Party.
Yeah, they had the registrations. Yeah.
They've got the registration numbers. So really, voter turnout is low in special elections.
Yep.
The only people that really come out in special elections are your base, let's say.
Your fours, and like I said, maybe your mailers. You know what I mean? Just because they're getting that automatic ballot.
And I was looking at the results on this. Also, congratulations to Jen Mazzocco for winning that race. Now, Jen was she had been Dormont Borough Council president for 2 years. Okay, and before that, she was the vice president of Dormont Borough Council. So she is obviously a very popular and very good government administrator.
They asked her to run for a reason, I'm sure.
So this isn't, this was really a vote of confidence of Jen Mazzocco than it was a referendum on Republicans.
Yeah.
That's my take.
It's not always good versus evil in an election. Some people think that, and that's not always the case. Sometimes there is no bad guy. You just go in there and, you pull the ticket for who you think has, the most experience, or you go and you fill in next to the name who you think, has the best ideas for where you want to take your community.
For sure. And so they, the people in that district, they know Jen very well. She's a very capable administrator of local government, and so they got the person they wanted. I think the untold story here is the gentleman that that vacated that seat, Dan Miller, who ran for Court of Common Pleas and became a judge here at the Court of Common Pleas. You know, Jen outperformed the longtime incumbent. So that's how good. That's how well liked she is, and I think that speaks to a vote of confidence from the folks in that district for Jen, for sure.
Yeah.
Right. We have to talk about the State of the Union.
Yeah.
The longest State of the Union in State of the Union history. I think something like 110 minutes. I watched it. I thought it was very well done. Very optimistic message. It was great to see the U.S. gold medal hockey team be recognized, and certainly both chambers of the House were standing up and gave the gold medal team a standing ovation. So that was very powerful.
A lot of medals were being handed out. Yeah,
a lot of medals. Oh, the guy, one of the pilots.
Yeah,
one of the pilots from Operation Absolute Resolve.
I believe it was a Chief Warrant Officer 5. Yeah,
was given the highest. He was given the Medal of Honor.
Yep.
So, and they told his story. You know, he's having a hard time walking. He was there, but he was using a walker while he was flying his Chinook.
Those are not easy to fly, by the way, and they're not fun.
And evidently, you have to fly those Chinooks. Yeah. You fly helicopters with your feet.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like his left leg. He took a lot of incoming.
Yeah.
And so he got the Medal of Honor. And you know, something that touched me during that moment, which will kind of bring us back to local politics, is Chris Deluzio. Chris Deluzio came out with a video before Operation Absolute Resolve, where he urged our military members to refuse in his words, so-called illegal orders. Now think about this for a second. You know that the Medal of Honor recipient had to have heard Chris Deluzio's video. And he's flying this dangerous mission, and he's getting shot. And he's got a local congressman here to us. You know that was in his mind, the Chris Deluzio's video saying, hey, you can refuse these illegal orders. Now, I don't know. That just seems extremely dangerous to me.
Yeah, I have to agree. And it's just kind of interesting. You didn't hear anybody on the left saying that during the whole COVID frenzy, right? When they were trying to illegally get people to take vaccines that weren't FDA approved, and they were kicking out the force, and they were kind of, paralyzing the force with what they were doing. You didn't hear anyone say, hey, don't be afraid to refuse, illegal orders, or don't be afraid to refuse to do what, your chain of command is telling you. And, now I guess it's politically savvy to say that because things are happening that they don't want to happen in the world. You can disagree with things that are going on and not put service members in a position like that where, to be honest, I mean, there's enough like tumultuous, things going on in the military right now anyway, with a lot of the change that's come in, which I personally 100% agree with the change that's come in with this new administration, but things are already tumultuous because of that. I don't think you need to put any more on these people's plates, and say something like that. And he was kind of like tongue in cheek with it, but I think we all know what they meant,
Yeah, I think it's it's obviously highly irresponsible.
Yeah.
That borders on psychological warfare of our own troops.
Yeah, you could call it. I guess a couple more words and you could call it treason, but I don't know when's the last time we've done something about treason in this country. But he was getting close with that, and a lot of them were getting close with that. I mean, but this even goes back to you have representatives, you have congresswomen and whatnot that have said, I don't know when people are going to start taking to the streets, and like there are so many people, and I'm just going to say blatantly, I'm always very objective, and sometimes that gets me in trouble, but it's really the left that encourages the rioting, and that encourages the taking to the streets and the violence and that. And, you see that a lot, unfortunately. And then it's something that you have, this ICE situations that we've had, recently, where people are out there and, they're in these signal chats, and
Right.
they think they're going to operate as some cell to try to like stop,
law enforcement, basically.
Yeah, stop ICE from like getting rid of predators in the neighborhood that came here illegally. And, they're putting their own constituents at risk because you're telling them to go out and put their bodies on the line and, stop an apprehension of criminals. I mean, we're really in like insane times. This is like Gotham City stuff,
Well, I tell you, the State of the Union was fantastic. Was there anything, Dave, that you saw at the State of the Union? I know that they talked a lot about energy. Both you and Juan are in the energy sector. I know that energy is front and center, especially with AI coming online. And I was very encouraged that the president does have a plan. I know there's some concerns from communities all around Pennsylvania for sure, as we talk about something a little more local with AI data centers and perhaps their demand for electricity and
water
and water and what that might do to the grid. But I was very happy to hear the president plan to sort of have these companies, hey, pay as you go, or create your own energy plant on site, that you'll be able to create your own energy for the AI data centers. That was
I mean, easier said than done. I think Trump knows a little bit. I mean, when we would go to some of his rallies that he would have, I mean, he's talked about the different types of concrete and different regulations and rules as far as building and doing construction of large building projects like skyscrapers and whatnot. I guess that he's done, but not sure how intimate he is with the energy. But he always talks a good game. We know that. It's not a closed loop system. I think that we need to do a lot more as far as like studying before we do this kind of stuff. I am happy, be it him, be it our congressmen, be it our senators. Our senators are kind of like, they're like Batman and Robin right now. I'm very impressed with, even if I don't like some of the stuff that they're doing, because I don't like everything. I like a lot of it, but not everything, of course. I've got my own mind, but they are able to come together and they're able to talk about things and they're able to do, what they think is right for their constituents. And that's a huge step in the right direction politically. So regardless of who it is, I'm glad that we're having the conversations. I know Josh Kale, he was talking about that. There were just some Pennsylvania energy hearings and he was talking about that as well. And I watched a little bit of that, but the right conversations are being had, and nobody has all the answers right now, but we do want to make sure that we look out for the populace, and we want to do what's going to make our societies better, because if we're not improving our communities and if we're not improving our societies, then why are we doing anything?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I know that obviously you guys being in the energy sector, what's the talk like with your different companies? Is there talk about AI on the job? Is there talk about more work, drilling for, trying to access more natural gas to power data centers? What's the...
Toby Rice was talking about that years ago. I mean, he's
Toby's CEO.
He's a smart EQT. He's a smart guy. He's like, he was talking about mining Bitcoin with it. Like he had all these things he would throw out in these meetings. He's a really smart guy. I think he's very like intuitive. He's like very cutting edge with certain things as well. probably more in Juan's area than mine, I would say, because you do directional drilling. But yeah, everyone wants more data because more data equals, smarter tools and equipment. A lot of times people will use AI like it's just going to, do things itself. But it's a program, it's a tool, it's something that we can use, and that's important to say. But probably more in your area, I would say.
Well, I was watching the what was that? The summit. It was in
the AI summit.
the economic summit. Is that in Europe? I think it was Switzerland or something like that.
Davos.
Davos, exactly.
Yeah.
So they were talking about we need more energy, we need more sources, and I think that's what they're driving for. Right now, you have projects in. They're going to start projects in close to us, West Virginia.
Yeah.
Power plants, natural gas power plants, big, huge projects. And especially for these manufacturing companies coming back. So you need a lot of energy. And Pennsylvania is in a great shape to be one of the greatest states because we got water. We can do hydropower. We have the technology. We have the valleys. We got the water. I don't know why the water is going. Their prices are going up here in Pittsburgh, but we got a lot of water. I think we need to invest in infrastructure for the infrastructure that is going to last next 100 years.
And
we have to think
infrastructure, yeah.
Capital I, absolutely.
Think ahead. And I think we have the resources and we got the people. And we have to start training these people, locals, to stay here. You need taxpayers. We need people to stay in this beautiful state.
Yeah, there needs to be an incentive for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, listen, guys, I have a feeling that this conversation could easily go for another hour. There were some things we didn't get to, but I did want to let everybody know about an event we are having tomorrow. This is our petition signature period from February 17th until March 10th. We have to get signatures for our candidates to get them on the ballot. There are plenty of events happening all across Allegheny County. One specifically that's happening tomorrow night is at the Morningside, is in the neighborhood of Morningside in the city of Pittsburgh. It's at Bulldog's Pub. Please come out. We will be at Bulldog's Pub from 6 to 9 tomorrow evening. So please come out and stop by, say hello, sign some petitions, and we can continue the conversation there. But Juan, it's been great to have you. And I know you were not that long ago. You were on KDKA.
Yes, this is new for me. I got nervous. Sorry, I didn't give you a good history about. I got blank about the history of.
No,
that was great. Yeah, I thought it was great. Yeah.
No, you're a natural.
Okay.
You're a natural, believe me.
Thank
you. Thank you, Juan, for coming in. Dave Gehring, solid committee man, also a KDK celebrity in the house here.
I've done a couple rounds on a couple panels, yeah.
In the house here tonight. So that is it for us. Thank you for tuning in to the right side of the rivers for show 17 here, hosted by our 5-star producers, Missy and Sorg. Just like to thank everybody out there for tuning in and listening to what we have to say. Follow us on all our socials, please. PGH GOP Committee. That's PGH GOP Committee on X, Facebook, and Instagram. And we will see you again in a couple weeks. Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Good night.
Thanks for tuning in to The Right Side of the Rivers. We appreciate you spending your time with us as we talk about the issues that matter to Pittsburgh, Allegheny County, and beyond. Be sure to visit us online at pittsburghrepublicans.com for more updates, events, and ways to get involved. And don't forget to follow us on social media. We're on X, Facebook, and Instagram at PGHGOP Committee. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and stay on the right side of the rivers.